Hi, I'm Kathie from City of Tucson Parks and Recreation Department Leisure Classes, and I'm the Lampworking instructor, and today I'm going to show you how I make a little baby elephant bead in honor of Penzi at the zoo. I'm going to do it on a minor bench burner, which is what we have here at the Parks and Recs. We have an exhaust system, we have some spotlights. I'm going to wear a pair of didymium glasses. And to turn on the torch, I first get my flame going and then turn on the propane. And then I add in the oxygen, and I want a little neutral flame like that. So for our starters, you will need this is a Effetre glass, it's a soft glass, and this is the dark gray color. You'll also need a little bit of intense black. And what we're going to do first is we will pull some stringers. So we start heating up our rod. We're going to need 2 stringers of the gray. We're going to need one kind of a fat one and one kind of a thin one. So I'll just ball up the end. And get my tweezers, let it stiffen slightly, pinch the end and pull out. This is my fat one. So we will do the same thing and we'll pull it faster, which will make it thinner. Then for the intense black, all I need is a tiny little bit. I'm going to use that to make some eyes. This is actually a stringer of intense black, but it is a little too thick. So I'm just going to pull it out so that it's very thin. So now I'm ready to start my Penzi bead. So I'm going to take a mandrel, I don't like that one. I'm going to heat up this is a steel mandrel. It's got some bead release. I'm just going to heat up right where the bead is going to go. And then I'm going to take my glass. I'm going to melt it. We'll get a little ball of molten glass on the tip of it, and then I'm going to touch it to the mandrel. I'm going to keep the mandrel behind the flame so that the glass is going through the flame, and I wrap it around the mandrel. When I think I have enough on, I just break it off, and I'm going to heat this and shape it into a into a gray tube. I'm looking at my black glass. And this is not quite big enough. We'll put some more glass on there so I can make it a pretty shape. Just evening up the ends. Now I have a gray tube. So I'm going to turn this gray tube into a light bulb shape. And I can do that by just adding glass on one half of the tube. And I have a little light bulb. So now I'm going to pick a side. Let's see. I'm going to put the head right here, and I'm just going to put on a dab of glass. Let it round up a bit, and I don't think that's quite big enough, so I will put a little bit more on. And that looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some legs. So we'll go down directly under where the head is, and I'm going to use a razor blade tool to sort of crease in. Then go directly to the back, heat up, and crease in. Do it on the side and on the other side. So now I've got an elephant body with a head and legs. So at this point, I'm ready to do a little bit more detail work. So I'm going to come up here with my fatter stringer. I'm going to touch it to the bottom of the face. And pull it out into a trunk. Kind of shape it with my tweezers if I have to. And then we'll add some ears. One ear on one side, one ear on the other side. Oops. Try to make sure there's the same amount on either side. And then we're just going to squeeze those. And then kind of pull the bottom down a little. Now, we're going to add some eyes with our teeny tiny black stringer. And when you're putting on eyes on a baby, if you were doing an adult elephant, you might want them up a little bit, but on a baby, you want to give it a high forehead. That makes it look more like a baby. And we'll take our fine gray stringer, touch it to the back, give her a little tail. And then we have to give her some knees. Put some wrinkles in her trunk. Can give her a bit of a heating. And voila, Mapenzi. Stick her in the kiln so she doesn't cool down too quickly, and we'll let her bake overnight. Okay, so let's do a recap here. You're going to pull some stringers. You're going to have a thin gray stringer, a fat gray stringer, then you want a tiny little stringer of intense black. You're going to make a gray tube. And you're going to turn it into a light bulb. You're going to give her a head and some legs. Then you add the trunk and some ears. And then you add the eyes, a tail, and you give her knees and little creases on her trunk. I'd just like to say also that we have plenty of other classes here at Parks and Recs. We have numerous different types of jewelry making classes, painting classes, and kids classes. Registration is available on easyreg.com. And as far as Penzi, if you go over to the zoo's website, I believe they have animal cams, and they even have a little blog that tells you what she's up to on a daily basis. I'm Kathie. I teach lampworking here at Parks and Recs leisure classes. Lampworking is actually glass bead making. It's the official term for a glass bead making class. And I also teach the torch fundamentals, and I teach glass fusing.